Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have been working on one-digit divisors. Today we're going to add in two-digit divisors. You don't have to go, Haley? Okay. Two-digit divisors. So the problem we're going to start with is 4,864 divided by 23. The process does not change. What you are asked to do is first list the multiples of 23. And I already did that because I wanted to save time. Times 2 is 23. Times 2 is 46. Times 3 is 69. Times 4 is 92. Times 5 is 115. Times 6 is 138. Times 7 is 161. Times 8 is 184. And times 9 is 207. So these are my first multiples of 23. Once I've done this, the rest is easy peasy, raw chicken squeezy. I go back just like I did in my problem. And I see, does 23 go into 4? No, it does not, because 4 is smaller than 23. A number can't go into a number smaller than 23 yet. We will learn how to do that, but not yet. Does 4 go into 48? Yes, it does. So now I go over here and I try and find the multiple closest to 48 without going over, and boom, it's 46. Since 23 times 2 is 46, that 2 goes above the 8. That tells me I'm going to have a 3-digit quotient, possibly a remainder. And since 2 times 23 is 46, I subtract, and I get 26. After I bring down my 6, I get 26. Now, I go back to my list of multiples. I try and see how many times 23 goes into 26. I list my multiples here, and I try and find the number closest to 26 without going over, and it is 23. And so that's times 1. 1 times 23 is 23. Yes, ma'am?
Do you have a Gracie in your class?
No, no Gracies.
Do you know anybody?
I do not know anybody named Gracie.
Okay.
Thank you. And when I subtract, I get 3, and then I bring down the 4. Now I go back. I'm taking 23 into 34. I go over here to my list of multiples. I try and find the multiple that's closest to 34 without going over. And it is, 23. So that's times 1. I subtract 23 from 34, and I get 211, remainder 11. As long as I did all my math correctly. And like, who knows? I mean, I could have done it wrong. If I did, speak up now or forever hold your peace. Because I am lazy and I don't want to have to rewrite multiples of a different number yet, I'm going to do the same divisor, 9,864 divided by 23. The first thing I do is take my divisor, which is 23. I list all my multiples of 23, which are listed right there. Now, does 23 go into 9? No, 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 it doesn't. So there's no number above the 9. Does 23 go into 98? Yes, it does. Which means I'm going to have an answer, a number above the 8, a number above the 6, and a number above the 4. Muy importante. So now I'm taking 23 into 98. I look at my list and I find the number that is closest to 98 without going over. And it is, boom, 92 is closest without going over. And so that's multiplied by 4. So the 4 goes above here. It is 92. I subtract 92 from 98, and I get 6. I bring down my next number, and my next number in my quotient is what goes into 66. So I need to get as close to 66 as I can without going over. I got 23, I have 46, I have 69. 69 is nice, too big. So it is 2, which makes it 46. And I subtract and I get 20. Then I bring down the next number, which is 4. Now I got to see how many times 23 goes into 204. So I look at my list of multiples and I get as close to 204 as I can without going over. 23, 46, 69, 92, 115, 138, 161, 184, 207. 207 is too big. So I must go back to 8. 492. So times 8. 8 times 23 is 184. And my remainder will be 20. As long as my remainder is smaller than my divisor, I'm fine. I can't have a remainder bigger than my divisor. It doesn't work that way. So that's 2 examples using a divisor of 23. But we have other divisors we could use. For example, what if we did a divisor of 56 for 2 different problems? What if I did 4,864 divided by 56? Well, first I'd have to list my multiples of 56. So times by 1 is 56. Times by 2 is 112. Times by 3 is 168. Times by 4 is 224. Times 5 is 280. Times 6 is 336. Times 7 is 392. Times 8 is 448. Times 9 is 504. So those are my first set of multiples for my divisor, which is 56. I ask myself, does 56 go into 4? Nah. I ask myself, does 56 go into 48? No, 48 is too small. Nah. I ask myself, is 56 going to be able to go into 486? Yes. Which means I'm going to have a 2-digit whole number quotient. Now, since I'm taking it into 486, I look at my list and I find as close to 486 as I can get, and it looks like 448 is as close as I can get without going over. So that means this is times 8, and that would be 448, and that would be subtract. That means I'm going to have to regroup. As long as I did my math right, I have 384. 384, I got to find out how many times 56 goes into 384. I look, so I want to get a multiple that's close to 384 without going over. And boom! It is 336. And so that's times 6. 336. Let's see, 8. 48. So 86 remainder 48. Is another example. And because I'm lazy, I'm using 56 again. 9,864 divided by 56. Does 56 go into 9? No. Does 56 go into 98? Yes, because 98 is bigger than 56. So now I look, 56 into 98. I look over here and I try and find the multiple that is closest to 98 without going over. And 112 is too big, so it must be times 1, which is 56. So I'm going to have a 3-digit whole number quotient. And so then we subtract 56. 8 minus 6 is 2. 42. As long as after I subtract, I'm smaller than my divisor. After I subtract, I'm good. Now I bring down my next number. How many times does 56 go into 426? I look at my multiples and I find the one closest to 426 without going over. And it looks like times 7 is 392. And I subtract 34. 34 is smaller than 56, so that seems right. I bring down my next number, 344. Now I'm trying to find the multiple that is Closest to 344 without going over. 56, 112, 168, 224, 280, 336, 392. Oh, 392 is too big. So it must be times 6, which is 336. Subtract, and I would get 8. So 176, remainder 8. This will save you lots of time and effort and crying. And when we start with 2-digit divisors and you don't come up to, and you come up to me and say, "Can you help me?" and I don't see those multiples, then I can't. It's against the law, really. Nobody wants to break the law. Boom! Shakalaka, peace out. God bless. Love you. Do something kind today. Save the bees.